Candidate Paul Kagame, 59, is leading in the presidential polls with a total of 54,582 votes, 99.38% so far counted, reports KT Press. Candidate Frank Habineza, 40, the flag-bearer of the Democratic Green Party of Rwanda (DGPR), has scored 189 votes, 0.34% total votes so far counted. The party has hosted its supporters at Lemigo Hotel in Kigali. Provisional results of the votes counted also indicate that independent candidate Philippe Pavamana, 46, has so far fetched 121 votes, 0.22%. His supporters are camped at Capri Hotel in Nyamirambo, toasting to the end of an aggressive electioneering process that lasted 20 days. On Friday night, National Electoral Commission presented to the nation 40% of the total votes so far counted. Then another 60% would follow by end of same night. NEC said it should be able to relay some 70% of the results. With such a margin, the Rwanda Patriotic Front Party could be destined to take the country's presidency and manage the country for the next 7 years. Professor Kalisa Mbanda, the chairman National Electoral Commission, on Friday night announced preliminary poll results. The commission said it could be able to announce the full final results on Saturday evening, the day independent candidate presented his credentials to National Electoral Commission. The RPF supporters are gathered at the party's new headquarters in Rusororo sector, Gasabo district, already in a jubilant mood. Meanwhile, the diaspora community are at Rwandan embassies following vote counting on going back home. According to provisions of the electoral law, the winner must attain at least 50% of the total votes counted and is sworn in as president of Rwanda 2 weeks after the final results are announced. Voter turnout presenting the outcome of the presidential elections, Professor Mbanda said that a total of 897,076 voters turn out for polls. There are 2,340 polling stations across the country with a total of 16,691 rooms. The elections were monitored by 1,800 observers, including 400 foreign. In the diaspora alone on Thursday, a total of 44,362 voters turned up at 98 polling stations. For the national electoral body, the elections were generally peaceful, started on time and concluded at 3 p.m. However, a few voters arrived at polling stations minutes after closing time. Professor Mbanda earlier in the day said that some voters were missing on lists, some had used phones to transfer new polling centers but upon arrival were told they weren't on the list at a new polling center. Since they had identity cards, they were allowed to vote. It's their right as long as they are in Rwanda. The 20-day presidential campaigns kicked off on July 14 with 3 candidates hitting the field soliciting for votes. Although the first campaign week was tense for the candidates, the RPF party had an upper hand. It had planned earlier and attracted larger rallies. Independent candidate used a megaphone walking door to door convincing voters. At some point, campaign rally site remained with empty chairs for almost 2 hours without any supporter turning up. However, deep into the campaigns, Pavamana managed to attract sizable rallies and hired a mobile sound system. Frank Habineza hit a wall when he drove to campaign in Nyagatare and Gasabo districts, both in Eastern Province. Local authorities in Rwimiyaga sector in Nyagatare district cancelled Habineza's rally, arguing that he had assembled near the market on a market day. This prompted him to drop the rally and drove to nearby Gasabo district, where also rowdy motor taxi operators covered in tree branches disorganized him along the way, but later managed to address supporters at a rally. For candidate Kagame, the RPF party meticulously planned its rallies and provided drinking water, big tents, entertainment, and promotional materials. Walk 4PK during RPF campaign at Bumbogo, Gasabo district, the 2nd of August 2017. Photo credit KT. Interesting at RPF rallies, women took the center stage, moderating protocol and mostly giving emotional testimonies reflecting personal and collective transformation under Kagame leadership. For this strategy, supporters identified more with their candidate. Whenever candidate Kagame picked the microphone, supporters anxiously waited for his powerful quotes, and he never disappoints. For his heroic credentials, millions of Rwandans cannot miss having a glimpse of Kagame. Also, supporters of all 8 opposition political parties allied to the Rwanda Patriotic Front not only endorsed Kagame as their candidate but also boosted the RPF rallies. Candidate Kagame always arrived at his campaign rallies with his wife and children, which is not usual. This also played a big role at the rallies. In a recent referendum conducted on December 19, 2015 to amend the Constitution, 98% of the voters agreed to the revision of Article 101, and for Kagame this was victory secured. Under the revised law, the 7-year term was scrapped and permits presidents to serve 2 5-year terms beginning with 2024.